What's up guys, continuing on with the Castle of Heaven and Two Towers, I have Little Red the True Fairy Tales deck profile for today. I decided to run a Cthulhu build that was kind of hovering around Facebook for a little before regionals, as well as this build is kind of one my friend has been using for a while, so let me get straight into it. For the Magic Stones, I have a Little Red the Pure Stone. Of course, this is extremely important because not only is it Little Red, but it also becomes a 4/4 pump if you have Little Red J activated. A Group Ballista, which is really great because it combos extremely well with Flames to kill anything that's 1,000, like Abdul or any other ruler really that's right outside of the range of Flame normally. It even works on Bahamut if they don't have Excalibur. 4 Magic Stone of Black Silence, and 4 Magic Stone of Scorched Veils. For the Resonators, I decided to run 4 Rasputins. Normally I think 3 is enough, like I mentioned in my Alice deck, but the reason why I like 4 in this one is because Byakhee doesn't use any red to incarnate, so I had to have a lot more dark targets. 4 King in Yellow for the same reason. It replaces itself, so I always have another one to use for incarnation, and it's dark. 2 Motars because it works really good for removal. It also combos really well with Cinderella. You wouldn't specifically sack Mozart first if they have any weak monsters on board, but let's say if you have a Cinderella, a Mozart, and a Rasputin, if you tribute the Rasputin and get rid of all of their Cheshires and only leave like their stronger monsters, you know, like Grettles, Green Cats, anything that's typically really weak, you can then select to do Mozart, and then they wouldn't have a choice but to select their big stuff because all the small stuff is already removed. 2 Haster, just really good for removal. I didn't want to use more than 2 because just 2 seemed enough. I have Stonings in here too, so my removal was fine. 2 Nayas, once again, I'd rather focus on getting Byakhee out turn 2, so I decided to only run limited hand control. I also have Spirals mained in this. And 4 Byakhee as a main win condition. The perfect play would be to hit a green-black turn 1 and a green-red turn 2, and you would go Rasputin turn 1, King in Yellow turn 2, or another Rasputin, whatever. Go into Byakhee. If they don't kill it and you get a Raff, next turn you can just pump for 1800 technically, because even after you J8 it doubles. And then, so you would go Rasputin first turn, King in Yellow turn 2, sack for Byakhee, search King in Yellow. They don't get rid of Byakhee, and then it's your turn. You tap for 900, that's 1800 attack. You then untap. Use Raff and J-activate, it's now 2700 attack, and then with Raff that's 29, and then if you banish Raff when it attacks directly to give it 400, that becomes 3500, and then they're in range for Thunder. So you literally can just use 1 Thunder and a Byakhee attack with everything pumping it, and you would get enough damage into just win by turn 3. So it's actually extremely strong. I mean, there's so many ways, and this is actually really good against Bahamut too, because if you have a Raff on the field, it becomes 1100 since Little Red is doubling it, and that's just enough to block Bahamut unless they use the sword, which of course even if they do and they don't have Excalibur, at least you're taking it out with it, and then you can continue trying to get more Byakhees on board and trying to incarnate to kind of gain advantage over them and eventually go for the win. I have a really heavy spell lineup in this deck. I'm using 4 Thunders just for obvious, either 5 of direct like I mentioned or spot removal. 3 Flame of the Outer World, and combos really well with Group Ballista like I mentioned. 2 Stoning to Death just for bigger Resonator removal that Flame of the Outer World can't hit. 3 Spiral of Despair because I want to be able to get the answers out of their hand for Byakhee. If I can just keep discarding their hand, they have less chances of stopping me from OTKing. 3 Raff the Castle in Heaven to J-activate early. 3 Zeeks. I'd normally only run 2 in a deck that only has 4 dark green, but I like the fact that you get all 4 effects. And this deck, because it has a really strong early game, it tends to drag it on to mid to late game anyway. And so these are more live because you tap for more stones. And just 2 Cake Stones. For my side deck, I have a Guardia, the Guardian Dragon of Heaven. This card hasn't been seeing a lot of play ever since like Abdul stopped being in the top because there's no really point to stack stuff like Group Ballista. But in this deck, I like the option of maybe trying to get to a Pure Stone earlier. I didn't want to main deck it because it does require 2 green, but I figured it couldn't hurt in the side just in case I really wanted to get to my Pure Stone. 3 zeros. I typically like 0 in this meta more than Cinderella because it kind of eats Thunder in a better way because you most likely got your value for it when you dropped it, and you might have been able to drop it during their end phase where they're already tapped out, so you're at least going to get 1 swing in plus the removal. But I couldn't find room for it in the main, so I just sided it. 2 Menestopheles. If you're playing against something that has a lot of removal and you can't get your Byakhees through, you want to at least punish them for all that removal by using Menestopheles. 1 Susano, I decided I didn't really find this after Houston Regionals to be super useful at 4 on the side, so I just decided to side 1. You also have all the Byakhee, so it's not really a big deal. You already have a bunch of flyers anyway. one Yogg, just because it's kind of easy to drop on decks that are trying to play Rush that don't have any counters. So if you know they're not playing green, you can side into this and maybe get it off to clear their board, and you don't have to worry about a Zeeks. 2 Bind of Gravity, it works really good against Gwyber. If you're going against something that has a Gwyber and you don't want to get blocked on your Byakuya and possibly go for the OTK, you could just rest it. 2 Fetal Movement for anything that uses black that might have Necronomicon. 2 Dark Pulse for just the entire meta right now is a lot of low drops. You have Knights, you have Bahamut, you have just a bunch of anything that runs a lot of small, even ramp cards like Elvish Priest and of course Gretel and stuff like Christie if they're playing Elves or anything. It just works in the meta really well. And just 1 Necronomicon. Once again, I didn't want to main a card like this, but I thought, it wouldn't hurt to have it in the side, so I just ended up siding it. So thanks for watching, guys. That was my little Red the True Fairy Tale deck profile. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, or check out the Too Long Didn't Watch version of the video if you want the deck list. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, because I have a ton of content coming out. It's now been confirmed that September 1st is going to be the official start of the spoilers, and I guess it's kind of, this part wasn't really clear because I don't fully understand how mail works, but if you don't get it on September 1st, I guess you're not going to get it even, following up that week, and they'll all be revealed by September 8th. So it's going to be a week of people getting the spoilers on the 1st and sharing it from September 1st to 7th, and then whatever isn't shared we'll see on the 8th, which gives us about 3 weeks before the release of the set anyway. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait to discuss all these new cards that are coming out, all the new playstyles that are going to be available. For those of you who don't know, Arla is like my life right now. The second I said the art, I've been wanting to run him for so long, and even today there was kind of like this like watercolored comic sketch of him drawn, and I was like dying inside because I need that Beauregalia and I need Arla. So I really hope that if I'm to get a spoiler, because I did sign up for the little website thingy, if I get a spoiler and it's Arla, I'm literally going to flip out and make like an insane video of me just ranting about how awesome it is. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.